Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Cup of Compassion, sponsored by the Show Me Hope Crisis Counseling Program and the Center for Trauma-Informed Innovation at Truman Medical Centers. I am Kreasha Williams, a Special Projects Coordinator from the Center for Trauma-Informed Innovation. Today, I will talk about the image of resilience, and I'll share some helpful ways in which we can increase our resilience. Please note that the information shared in today's video session is not intended to be a substitute for professional, medical, or behavioral health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider should you have any questions regarding a medical condition. If you have questions, you may leave them in the comments section of today's video, and we will respond as we are able after today. Now, let's talk about resilience. One word, many interpretations, and a host of definitions of what this one word means. I appreciate the definition provided by Dr. Hashmit in an article from Psychology Today, as he defines resilience as the psychological capacity to adapt to stressful circumstances and bounce back from adverse events. In essence, resilience is the mental capacity, the ability, and the tendency to bounce back. When we talk about resilience, there are usually many images that will come to mind, and today we will talk about briefly 3 of those images. The first being the image of the flower, the most common image. The flower here seems to be thriving in the midst of dry ground. The land is very dry, conditions that are definitely not conducive for growth, yet the flower is still thriving. The next image is the image of the ball, a ball that is filled with air. When the ball has the appropriate amount of air that it needs on the inside, then the ball is able to function at its full potential just as it was intended to and bounce. The last image is the image of a mirror. A mirror is a reflective surface, typically made of glass, that reflects an image. The mirror reflects the image of whomever or whatever is in front of it. I wonder, how many times do we look in a mirror or see our reflection in a given day? What if we saw our reflection and it served as a mental reminder to do a personal check-in? What if when we looked in the mirror at the beginning of the day or the middle of the day or ending our day, what if we asked ourselves the question, how are you really? Or what are you feeling? Or even better, who or what will I connect with to promote positivity? Or who have I connected with that promoted positivity in my life? We have the mirror, then we have our reflection, serving as a mental reminder to do a check-in. All 3 images have something inside of it that contributes to its ability to be at its best. For the flower, it was the soil that provided the nutrients. Although the ground around the flower was dry, very dry, on the surface, below the surface, there was still some good soil. Below the surface, it had strength. Below the surface, the soil was able to give the flower what it needed to thrive. I used to think it was the flower that was the resilient one in this image. But now I'm starting to think that maybe the soil and the dry ground was resilient as well, below the surface. For the image of the ball, it was the air inside of the ball that had something within it that allowed it to be at its best. And then for the mirror or the reflection, it's what's inside of the mirror, what the mirror is reflecting. It's what's inside of the individual that holds internal strengths. You see, internal strengths are tools that support our mental capacity and contribute to our ability to cope with life's circumstances. Internal strengths are those strengths that are inside of us that cannot necessarily be seen, such as our intellect, our confidence, our ingenuity, our compassion, our gratitude, our hope. All of those working together helps to build our resilience so that when we are impacted by life's circumstances, we have internal strengths to help us cope with adversity, that help us cope with whatever situation is difficult for us at that moment. Now, let's talk about some ways to increase our very own resilience. The first being reinforce positive social connections. When we are connected to people that we trust and people that we know, there's a tendency to draw strength from them. And it's that strength and that support that we draw from other people that creates an emotional security for ourselves. When we are secure emotionally, there's a tendency for us to feel empowered. When we feel empowered because of that positive connectivity, we feel that we are able to be at our best and we're able to function at our best. So one way to increase our resilience is to reinforce the positive social connections. Another way to increase resilience is to have the courage to move forward. Studies show that moving forward in the face of adversity increases our inner strength or those inner resources. Moving forward, just period, is difficult at times. But when we are able to do that, when we have the support and the resources to move forward, we increase and strengthen what's already inside of us. Having the courage to move forward in face or in times of adversity, that definitely gives us the ability to increase our mental capacity and move forward. Another way to increase resilience is to nurture a positive view of self. This simply means to have confidence in your ability to create, your ability to problem solve, your ability to be at your best. Trust your ability and know that it may not always look perfect, it may not always feel perfect, but you have everything inside of you to be at your best, to finish strong. Believe in yourself. When we are able to nurture a positive view of ourselves, we feel again strengthened. We have a sense of empowerment and a sense of pride to be able to go and be the best that we can be. So one way to increase our resilience is to take what's already inside of us, nurture that, and create or enhance a positive view of ourselves. Another way to increase resilience is to maintain a hopeful outlook. An optimistic outlook creates a shift from thinking negatively to expecting that something good and something positive can happen. Metabolizing that negative energy, that stressful energy, moving it out of the way to make room to accept that something positive and something good can happen. Maintaining a hopeful outlook is difficult in times of adversity, but we have to accept that it won't always be like this. We have to accept that something good can happen. So a way to increase resilience, maintain a hopeful outlook. And then last but definitely not least, another way to increase resilience is to simply take care of yourself. This is what these cups of compassion are all about. Self-care. What can we do? How can we promote self-care in our own well-being? Pay attention to your own needs. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Tap into the resources and the supports that you need that contribute to your own self-care. Taking care of ourselves helps to keep our mind and our bodies primed to deal with situations that require resilience. I've mentioned just a few images that are symbolic of resilience, and there's so many more. I mean, it's really up to you what resonates with you that represents resilience. It's really up to you, whatever the image is. May I present to you, though, the final image of resilience? Are you ready for this? And the winner of the image that best represents resilience is you. That's right. You are the image of resilience. If you have been able to adapt to a new way of working, a new way of thinking, a new way of connecting with others, a new way of completing tasks, just to name a few, then I'm here to encourage you to look in the mirror, because the image of resilience is you. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that the information shared will serve as a tool to support your own well-being during this time. I invite you to join us again next Thursday at 12:30 Central for another Cup of Compassion right here on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified of new videos. If you would like crisis counseling, you may call 816-404-6222. For immediate care, call the Disaster Distress Helpline at 800-985-5990. Thank you so much for tuning in, and take good care.